Canto 3. So after first canto, second canto was taken by Sukumar Krishna Prabhu, and all of you have done very nicely. Second canto, exam, presentation, everything. So today we'll be beginning Canto 3, and today we'll be mostly discussing about the introduction and the connection between Canto 2, Canto 3, and Canto 3 to further cantos. Maybe we'll start a little bit also, chapter 1. So before that, can someone briefly summarize in couple of sentences what was that you learned in second canto? What was the main theme of second canto? Anyone can volunteer?
Supremacy of devotional service over all other processes of liberation.
Okay, then that's all. That was the only one theme all over second canto.
Is introduction
No.
of Bhagavatam.
Introduction of Srimad Bhagavatam. How are you saying that Canto 2 is the introduction of Bhagavatam?
Because when Parikshit Maharaj asked questions, and the second canto is starting off answering that questions, and thereby Parikshit Maharaj asked how does the Bhagavatam started. Then it came with the conversation between Brahmaji, Narad Muni, and then. So that is the way it introduction to Srimad Bhagavatam, how Srimad Bhagavatam came.
Okay. How Srimad Bhagavatam came. So that's how it has it is indicating introduction to Srimad Bhagavatam. Fine. Someone else?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Can I
Yeah,
say
please
something?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. In the first 3 chapters, there is a discussion between Srila Shukdev and Parikshit Maharaj and answering the questions asked by Parikshit. That was before he was asked. So, though clarification of Srimad Bhagavatam by Srila Shukdev Goswami is in 4th chapter. And 5, 6 are talking about the Lord Brahma and Narada. And on the 8th chapter is inquiry of Parikshit Maharaj again. And the 9th is Chatur Shlok. Lord appeared before Brahma. He spoke 4 important shlokas. So the 2 important thing is Chatur Shloki in the 10th chapter, and the second is 10 subject matter present in the second canto. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else from Prabhuji's side?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, please, louder.
In the second canto, Sukadeva Goswami described the supremacy of Krishna Bhakti while presenting various other processes on the Vedic landscape, like demigod worship, meditation on universal form, Virat Rupa, and Super Soul Paramatma as a part of Ashtanga Yoga. He also explained the Chaturshloki Bhagavatam and finally gave the definition of the 10 topics of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Gauranga Purushottam Prabhu, please say some words.
इसलिए मैं बैठा हूँ. Yes, Prabhuji, actually this second canto start from conversation because when this Sukdev, this Parikshit Maharaj asked, what should you do? The person who have been at the end of life, means then my person is going to die. So the conversation started from that, and then Sukdev Goswami given a brief narration from those who are. Then he was telling you whatever the qualification of these people, of those who don't have the inclination to the gods, because they are involved in so much talk. For these people, there are so much topics to discussion, and
not so many details, but in essence, some theme, some taglines. You just mentioned some taglines.
That they have started describing from this whatever the qualification for these people, and then they are starting going from this those who are people having some inclination toward the demigods. So they what should you do, and then will attend what type of destination. Then you can say going to for the Paramatma worshipper, where they are describing the different means we can say this Brahman Rup Krishna Swarup, they are also describing the feature of that, and then they are describing the whole cosmos manifestation, how they describe, and again they come to the conclusion that the highest conclusion is the means worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, where they describe Kama Sarma Kamava, and from that they again then starting discussing what the this feature of this Bhagavatam, and then starting ki I want the bhakti ke bare mein, they are showing the type of bhakti. Then they are start describing about this narration of Brahmaji and Narad Muni, and then whole narration going through. Finally, they are describing these 10 topics of Bhagavatam, and then again he was asking the what are the next thing. That then they are Parikshit Maharaj was asking ki what happens when this Vidur Maharaj went there, when he come out, because in 13th chapter, first canto, they are describing the part time of Vidur Maharaj. Then he again want to describing the Vidur Maharaj teachings, the third canto.
Okay. Thank you for giving the entire summary. Okay. Now, yes.
प्रभु जी मेरा प्रेजेंटेशन था ना आज,
प्रेजेंटेशन आपका होगी 3:30 बजे, 3:30 बजे तक क्लास होगा, क्लास के बाद आपका प्रेजेंटेशन होगा. ओके ना?
यस प्रभु जी, थैंक यू.
Prabhuji, I will try here for second canto. Main theme is to how it is important to hear and chant the pastimes of Lord Krishna in various his features like Virat Rupa, his Leela Avatar, and that entire discussion about Lord Krishna's pastime will be elaborated in third canto onwards.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Among the many presentations, there was one presentation which was about first 2-3 verses of the Bhagavatam. One presentation was only about first verse. One presentation was about the first 3 verses. And there was a discussion. There was a discussion expected about what is the Vastu Nirdesh of Srimad Bhagavatam. The presentation was also given. Does anybody remember what is the Vastu Nirdesh of Srimad Bhagavatam? What is the Vastu Nirdesh of Srimad Bhagavatam?
Prabhuji, first three slokas, it is described in Vastu Nirdesha, Bhagwan, Srimad Bhagavatam, and third one, the sweetness of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Okay. See, you people have forgotten. You recollect your slides, which we have discussed in the first class and all. The Vastu Nirdesh is what is the subject matter of the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. The subject matter is, we can say in different ways also. One way it is Sadhaka, Sadhana, and Sadhya. Who is the Adhikari to study and follow Srimad Bhagavatam is Sadhaka. What is supposed to follow? That is Sadhana. By following that Sadhana, what is getting? That is Sadhya. Bhakta, Bhakti, and Bhagavan. This is the subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam. The entire Bhagavatam talks about these 3 things only. Bhakta, Bhakti, and Bhagavan. Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojan. Bhakta is Sambandha, Bhakti is Abhideya, Bhagavan is Prayojan. So this is the subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam. So if this is the subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam, then what is Srimad Bhagavatam? Who compiled it? When he compiled it? And why he compiled it? Is all discussed in the first canto. First canto primarily talks about, it introduces what is the subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Subject matter of Srimad Bhagavatam is about Bhakta. The first chapter talks about Bhakta. Praya Nalpa Shasabya Kalo Asmin Yuga Jana Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagya Upartata. He is the qualified person for Srimad Bhagavatam. And next Bhakti. What is Bhakti? Savai Pumsha Parodharma Yato Bhakti Rayakita Daksha Jaya Hetuki Aparyata Yatma Supradedati. Vasudevi Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janedi Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayat Ahetukam. This is Bhakti. So who is Bhagavan? There are so many avatars. So as it is mentioned in that end of the chapter, I don't remember that verse. One verse, like, just give me 1 minute. So in that after, of course, 28th verse is there, but not that. Krishnastu Bhagavan saying that verse is there, not about that one. Uske baad Janmaguyam Bhagavato Yetat Prayato Nara Sayam Pratar Gunan Bhakta Dukha Grama Vimuchate. Not only, not this. There is one more verse. उसके पहले शायद. This is verse number 26. 1-3-26. Avatarahi asankyeha hare sattva nide dvija. Yata vidasina kulya sarasasyu sahasrasha. Just like in a ocean, there is no end to the waves. Similarly, there is no end to the number of avatars. There are many innumerable avatars are there, but we cannot discuss everything. Just like the waves constantly come and go in a ocean, similarly there are innumerable avatars. They come and go according to their time. So all the avatars are Bhagavan. All the avatars are Sadhya. All the avatars are Prayojana. But among all the avatars, who is the supreme Sadhya? Who is the supreme Prayojana? That is Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Ete Chamsha Kalapumsha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Indrari Vyakulum Loki Mudayanti Yuge Yuge. So that is indicative. Even in the sadhana also, in the second chapter also, there is a discussion about karma, jnana, yoga, but there and bhakti also. Among all these different variety of sadhanas, what is the best sadhana? That is bhakti. That is established. And who is the best Bhagavan? Who is the best sadhya? That is Krishna. That is established in the third chapter. So this is the subject matter. This will be elaborated in the rest of the Bhagavatam. Elaboration of these 3 chapters only entire Bhagavatam is all about. So then in the remaining part of the Bhagavatam, it talks about who, when, where, why compiled Srimad Bhagavatam. That was about the conversation between Narada and Vyasa that you all heard and all studied. And then who are the personalities involved in Srimad Bhagavatam? Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami. Who are they? What is their background? Why one among the two has spoken Bhagavatam and the other heard Bhagavatam? What transpired between them so that one is hearing Bhagavatam, other one is speaking Bhagavatam? That is all mentioned in the first canto. So in our second book, which some of you might be having, or most of you might be having, that Bhagavatam is a seeker journey. So I given the title for the entire first canto is the preface to the entire Bhagavatam. Preface means the conditions under which the Bhagavatam has been compiled, the conditions under which the Bhagavatam has been narrated, and what are the topics the author trying to inform us through this book. That is all mentioned in the first canto. And the ultimately having introduced that Bhagavatam is all about sadhaka, sadhana, and sadhya. So now at the end of the first canto, Sukadeva Goswami asks a question. Abhi okay, जिनका जीवन में पूरा काल है, समय है, वो करेंगे जीवन भर, बट जो मरने वाला है वो भगवान को कैसे प्राप्त कर सकते हैं आसानी से? So when a person is about to die, how will he attain the shelter of Supreme Lord quickly? Because he don't have much time. So that was the question. Ata pruchami samsiddhim yoginam paramam guru. Purushasya yat karyam mriyamanasya sarvada. What should a person do throughout one's life in order to attain that supreme sadhya, especially when a person knows that he is going to die, what he should do? And whatever he is supposed to do, what all it should contain, especially what kind of shravanam he should do. Yes, shravanam mato japyam yat kartavyam rupi prabhu Smartavyam Vajaniyam va Yadva Vipariyam. What one is supposed to do, what one is not supposed to do, what one is supposed to hear, whom one is supposed to worship, what one is supposed to speak, and whom one is supposed to contemplate upon, etc. etc. Especially for a person about to die, and also for a person who is having a long life, what they are supposed to do. So Sukadeva Goswami says that yes, there are so many processes one can follow in one's life: karma, jnana, yoga, bhakti. But if a person is about to die, he has not much time. Either he can take shelter of Uttama Bhakti or can take shelter of Bhakti Mishra Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga mixed with Bhakti. Both these processes can enable one to attain the highest perfection. But the highest perfection is in different stages. We have the understanding of 5 liberations. Anyone remember what are the 5 liberations?
Sayujya, Salokya,
Sarupya,
Samipya, Sarupya.
Sarupti bhi hai Prabhuji, Sarupti.
Shashti.
Yeah. By the practice of Bhakti Mishra Yoga, generally people aspire to attain Sayujya Mukti. But some fortunate yogis may also aspire to attain Sarishti and Salokya. So, in general, though the Bhakti Mishra yogis get or aspire to get Sayujya Mukti, but some fortunate yogis also aspire to get Sarishti and Salokya. Utna tak ho gaya. But on the other hand, the devotees aspire to get and also they get Salokya, Sarishti, Samipya and Sarupya. These 4 liberations. Even though they have less time, if they perform Tivrena Bhakti Yoga and Ajata Purushampara, even in a small time also they will attain one of these liberations. So that is indicated in the first 3 chapters. So then, okay, fine. Sukadeva Goswami answered Parikshit Maharaj questions. He is ready to leave. So then Parikshit Maharaj says, fine, my dear sir, please tell me what I am supposed to do. He is told that do Bhakti. So Bhakti means what? What I am supposed to do in Bhakti? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. Tasmat Sarvatmana Rajan, Hari Sarvatra Sarvada, Shrotavya, Kirtitavyasya, Smartavya, Ichata, Abhayam. If you want to attain perfection, the fearlessness, please do Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. This is Bhakti contains 9 varieties. Do all the 9. Our Parikshit Maharaj says, so my dear sir, I don't have so much time to do all these 9. Please tell me one of the 9. I can't do all the 9. एक तो बताओ, इतना 9 करने का मुझे नहीं होगा. So then he told, पिबन्ति ये भागवत आत्मना सतां कथामृतं श्रवणपुटेषु समृतं पुनन्ति ते विषयविदिष्टाशयं व्रजन्ति तच्चरण सरोरु अंकितम्. Vrajanti Tatcharana Saroru Ankitam. You will attain shelter at the lotus feet of Tat, that Supreme Lord. Who is that Supreme Lord? Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So what is the process? Pibantiye Bhagavata Atmana Satam. Katha Amrutam Shravana Puteshu Samrutam. So there is something called Katha Amruta, the nectar of Krishna Katha. So it telling that Pibanti, drink. So आप बोल रहे हैं कथामृत, ये तो नॉर्मल अमृत, ये तो पी सकते हैं. कथामृत कहते पीने का, मुंह से नहीं पी सकते. He said that Shravana Puteshu, drink the Krishna Katha, the nectar of Krishna Katha through your ears. Okay, fine. So what will happen? Primarily, you will attain shelter of the lotus of Supreme Lord. Secondarily, Vishaya Vidushita Ashayam Punanti. One is purified of all subsidiary goals in this material world. All misdirected ambitions are all purified. These things will take place. Okay, now Sukadeva Goswami says, so my dear sir, आपने बोला मुझे कथामृतम श्रवण पुटेषु समृतम पिबंति. कथा अमृत को पीने के लिए बोला था, श्रवण करने के माध्यम से, श्रवण के माध्यम से. बट कौन पठन करेगा? आप तो जा रहे, थोड़ा रुको ना, थोड़ा श्रवण करके जाओ. So then Sukadeva Goswami says, what do you want to hear? Yeah, please tell me. There are so many things to hear. You talked about so many avatara. You talked about the Bhagavan. Bhagavan के बारे में सुनने का, भगवान का लीला तो बहुत सारा है. So let us start from the beginning. Please speak about the Srishti Lila of the Supreme Lord. So then Sukadeva Goswami briefly narrates the Srishti Lila, and also through the medium of Srishti Lila, please speak about the activities of Lord's various avatars also. Indirectly, Sukadeva Parikshit Maharaj asked that question, for which Sukadeva Goswami talks about initially the activities of the three Purusha avatars. Who are the three Purusha avatars?
Karandakshayi,
Vishnu or Kshirodakshayi.
Yeah, Karanodakshaya Vishnu, who is the Paramatma of the entire Prakriti. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, who is the Paramatma of the entire universe. Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, who is the Paramatma of each and every living entity. Then he speaks about the activities of the Gunavataras. Who are the Gunavataras? And what are their activities?
Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh.
What are their activities?
Creation, maintenance, and annihilation.
Creation, maintenance, annihilation.
Creation, maintenance, and annihilation. Who does creation? Who does maintenance? Who does annihilation? What do you mean by creation, maintenance, and annihilation?
Lord Brahma does creation.
What creation?
Of the material world.
Secondary creation.
Secondary creation.
What do you mean by secondary creation?
Lord is already created, that is Sarga, already created. And
Okay.
Brahma recreates it, Prabhuji.
Brahma recreates it, huh? Okay. No problem. So details you will come to
Lord
know.
gives all the ingredients for the creation to the Brahmaji, and he further creates it. And of course, under the assistance and guidance of the Lord. That's why he
Okay,
asked.
fine. Okay. Then what do you mean by maintenance and who does it?
Lord Vishnu does maintenance.
Which Lord Vishnu?
Haribol, Poshanam. Lord is protecting the whole universe or devotees.
अभी पोषणम कहाँ से आ गया? We are not talking about पोषणम. We are talking about maintenance. We are talking about creation, maintenance, and annihilation. Who is responsible for that and what does he do?
So Lord Vishnu is maintenance through his energies, to the different energies.
What do you mean by maintenance? What exactly it does in maintenance?
Survival.
Sorry?
Survival.
Who survival? His own survival?
No. Living entities, or whatever the living entities who are there in this world. He makes the provisions for the living beings or whatever the 84 lakh species or whatever it is, like, you know.
Okay. Which Vishnu does this maintenance? Anyone? There are 25 students in the class. Which Vishnu does the maintenance?
Garbhodakshaya Vishnu.
Garbhodakshaya Vishnu? It is Kshirodakshaya Vishnu with the maintainer of the entire universe, not Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. So what do you mean by annihilation? Who does it and what does he do?
Annihilation is done by Lord Shiva.
Okay. So what does he do?
There are enormous rains. The entire planetary system is submerged in rains, and all the planets there, like.
So you mean to say Lord Shiva will send forth rains or what?
Yeah.
I am not asking how annihilation happens. I am asking what Shiva does so that annihilation will happen.
Tandav
Nritya. कृष्णा. ओके आप लोग ड्रामा बहुत देखते लगता है. See, anyway, all these things will be presented in the future cantos. We will be discussing about all these things elaborately, but just to raise a thought in all of you, I'm asking. So the three Purushavasaras, the three Vishnus, Mahavishnu or Karnadaksha Vishnu creates 24 elements. By the combination of them, unlimited Brahmandas are formed. Then he expands into Garbhodaksha Vishnus, equal number of Garbhodaksha Vishnus, so that one Garbhodaksha Vishnu enters into one universe. Having entered into that universe, he creates water from his transcendental body. That water fills the lower half of the entire universe, and Garbhodaksha Vishnu goes inside the water and takes rest. Then from him there comes the lotus, which eventually manifests into the 14 planetary systems and also the entire universal form. And from which Lord Brahma also appears on top of the lotus. This all you studied in the 9th chapter. I am not telling some new story. Everything is there in the 9th chapter. Then Lord Brahma performs austerities to have darshan of the Lord and with the empowerment of the Lord. Then he divides that lotus into 14 divisions known as 14 planetary systems. Then he fills the 14 lokas with variety of living entities. That is called Brahma's secondary creation. Creating 14 lokas and creating physical forms for all the different variety of species, so that the different variety of species will live in different lokas. That is called Visarga, secondary creation by Lord Brahma. And the same Garbhodaksha Vishnu also expands into Kshirodaksha Vishnu, who stays in Shvetadvipa, and he takes care of the maintenance of the entire universe. So हर ब्रह्मा जी के दिन में शुरुआत में सुबह सुबह ब्रह्मा जी क्रिएट करते हैं 14 भुवन और अलग अलग प्रकार का जीव का शरीर, और पूरा दिन भर क्षीरोदक्ष विष्णु 14 भुवन को और 14 भुवन के अंदर जो जीव राशि है सबको मेंटेन करते। और दिन का अंत में रात के समय, रात होने के पहले भगवान शिव क्रोध होकर अपना तीसरा आंख खोलते हैं, उसमें से अग्नि आकर 14 भुवन को दहन करते। And all the living entities leaving their gross bodies behind because they are all burnt by the fire coming from the third eye of Lord Shiva. They will enter into the body of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. They will take rest for the entire night of Brahma. The next day morning again lotus comes, Brahma comes, and Brahma creates 14 planetary systems. Again the physical forms of all the living entities, and they are maintained by Lord Vishnu throughout the day. They are again annihilated by Lord Shiva at the end of the day. Again they take rest for the entire night, and next day morning again Brahma appears and creates. Lord Vishnu maintains and Lord Shiva destroys in the evening. This is a routine process. These three are working very hard to provide all these facilities so that for what purpose?
So that we can fulfill our desires.
Universal effect will be continued.
So that,
sorry?
Universal effect will be continued.
So we
For
can
what
Krishna
purpose?
for the sustenance of the jivas.
so that
For what purpose?
no, so that we can have to know.
So that we understand
Devotional
service reform.
To fulfill the desires of thing and to get it back into the Krishna Godhead or something, God consciousness.
With a desire to provide proper facility for the living entity so that they can practice bhakti and go back home back to Godhead, Lord Brahma creates 14 planetary systems and Lord Vishnu maintained throughout the day. But if you don't take seriously, by the end of the day, Lord Shiva becomes angry and destroys everything that has been created by Lord Brahma and maintained by Lord Vishnu. Again, with a new hope, Lord Brahma again creates, Lord Vishnu again maintains, hoping that कम से कम अभी तो ये लोग वापस जाएंगे, वापस अपना अपना घर लौट जाएंगे, फिर भी जाएंगे नहीं हम, भगवान शिव क्रुद्ध होकर फिर सबको अंत करेंगे, फिर वापस ब्रह्मा जी वापस सृजन करेंगे, भगवान विष्णु ने वापस मेंटेन करेंगे, फिर भी हम नहीं जाएंगे. So this is what is happening. They are actually working hard so that we can go back home back to Godhead. That is the only purpose, nothing else. This was the question of Parikshit Maharaj. My dear Sukadeva Goswami, please talk about the activities of the Purusha Avataras and Guna Avataras with the main theme of What is the process of creation and what is the purpose of creation? That was the whole thing. That's why in the two chapters, chapter 5 and chapter 6, Sukadeva Goswami explains about the process of creation. And in chapter 7, he talks about purpose of creation. In order to remind all of us that we need to come back to Godhead, Lord comes again and again in various avatars and performs so many attractive pastimes so that we can be attracted to Lord's lotus feet. But still we are not attracted to him. And we want to continue in this material world. So in that way, Srila Sukadeva Goswami in a way talks about the activities of the Purusha avatars, the activities of the Guna avatars, the activities of the Leela avatars. Among the Leela avatars, there are also Manvantara avatara, Shakti Avesh avatars, and what else is remaining? अभी जो भी कुछ बचा हो तो सब कुछ उसके अंदर आ जाते हैं. युगा अवतारास सब कुछ आ जाते हैं अंदर. So that is the purpose. So Sukadeva Goswami complete किया. At the end of the 7th chapter, परीक्षित महाराज घबरा हो गए. अभी ये तो जल्दी जल्दी जाने का निकलने वाला है. इनको रोकने कैसे? 7 दिन सिर्फ बचा है. So then Parikshit Maharaj asked multiple questions, so many questions, and he said that please give answer to all these questions and please give answers to those questions which are not asked also. Those subject matter connected to Supreme Lord. Then Sukadeva Goswami says, if I have to give you answers to all these questions, I need to speak to Bhagavatam. I need to speak Bhagavatam. So what is Bhagavatam? Bhagavatam was originally spoken by Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayana, unto Brahmaji. Which Lord spoke Bhagavatam to Lord Brahma? Who was that Lord spoke Bhagavatam to Lord Brahma?
Garbhodakshai Vishnu.
Ah, yes. It was Garbhodakshai Vishnu, from whom Brahmaji appeared. Because Brahmaji was searching for the source of his own appearance and the source for the lotus. The source for the lotus and Brahmaji is Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and that Garbhodakshai Vishnu only appeared and spoke Chatushloki Bhagavatam to Brahma. And eventually Brahma spoke the same Bhagavatam to whom?
Narada.
Whatever the meaning of the Chatushloki, he spoke to Narada Muni in 3 chapters. Chapter 5, chapter 6, chapter 7. The meaning of these 3 chapters are nothing but the elaboration of the meaning of the 4 slokas which Lord Narayana spoke to Brahmaji. Okay? And then Brahmaji told Narada Muni one important thing at the end of the 7th chapter, I suppose. What was that Brahmaji requested Narada Muni after speaking this entire Bhagavatam to him?
Now you
what
go
did he
and
request?
preach it to. Now you go and preach it to the world.
Elaborate it.
And then elaborate करके क्या करने का?
Spread the message.
Why to spread the message?
To attack the living entities.
That is what is said in the Bhagavatam. This is 2nd Canto, chapter 7, text number 50, 51, 52. 3 verses. Soyam te abhitat tata Bhagavan Vishwabhavana Samasena Harerna Anyad Anyasmad Sat Asachayat. Whatever I have spoken to you, Samasena, in brief, is nothing but Bhagavan. The word spoken by Bhagavan about Bhagavan is what I have spoken to you. Are you getting? Lord Garbhodakshaya Vishnu spoke 4 slokas to Lord Brahma. About whom did he spoke to Brahma? What is the subject matter of those 4 slokas? आप लोग एग्जाम भी लिखा, प्रेजेंटेशन भी दिया.
संबंध अभिधेय प्रयोजन.
किसके साथ संबंध, किसके लिए अभिधेय, किसके कौन प्रयोजन? About whom? I am asking the subject person. About whom it
about the Bhagwan. Absolutely.
That's what. Bhagavan is speaking about Bhagavan only. So that's what he says that Samasena Harer na Anyad Anyasmat Sat Asachayat. Whatever I have spoken to you in the last 3 verses, last 3 chapters, chapter 5, 6, 7, it is nothing but about the Bhagavan only. And that is also in brief I have spoken to you. Why Brahmaji is telling about this word in brief? Then he says that Idam Bhagavatam Nama Enme Bhagavatoditam Sangrahoyam Vibhuti Nam Tvameta Vipulikuru. This particular scripture which I have spoken to you is called Bhagavatam, which was originally spoken by Bhagavan himself. And I have spoken to you in brief. I request you to elaborate it. Elaborate करके क्या करने का? Next verse. यथा हरो भगवती भक्ति योगा नृणाम भक्तिर भविष्यति सर्वात्मनि अखिलाधारे इति संकल्प वर्णया. So my dear son, please make a sankalpa. Please give me a promise. Please make a vow that may you elaborate the meaning of these 3 chapters, which is about Bhagavan, spoken by Bhagavan, and speak to one and all whomsoever you come across. For what purpose? For only one purpose. Nunam bhaktir bhavishyati. Yata haro bhagavati nunam bhaktir bhavishyati. भगवान हरि के प्रति भक्ति जन्म लेना चाहिए जो इसको श्रवण करता है. With that purpose, may you speak this Bhagavatam to one and all whomsoever you come across. This was the Guru Dakshana which Lord Brahmaji wanted from Narada Muni. And the same Narada Muni spoke the same Bhagavatam to many people in the past. But recently, he spoke the same Bhagavatam to Srila Vyasadeva. Through the story of his own previous life that we heard in the first canto, chapter 5, 6, 2 chapters. That is the essence of what Narada Muni heard from his father, that he mentioned there. So then, Srila Vyasadeva compiled the same Bhagavatam with the same purpose. Whoever hears that Bhagavatam, Bhakti should manifest in them. And Srila Vyasadeva made his own son as his first disciple, Srila Sukadeva Goswami. He spoke the same Bhagavatam to his own son, Sukadeva Goswami. And Sukadeva Goswami is telling that the same Bhagavatam I will speak to you now. That will give you all answers to all your questions. So this is it. And that Bhagavatam contains 10 topics. Atra sarga visargacha sthanam poshanamutaya manvantaresha anukata nirodho muktir ashraya. That Bhagavatam which was spoken by Lord Narayana to Brahma, Brahma to Narada, Narada to Vyasa, Vyasa to Sukadeva, Sukadeva to Parikshit Maharaj right now contains 10 topics. And he also gives the definition of all the 10 topics, etc. in the last chapter of the last canto. We are not touching that. So, thus, in total, the second canto introduces us to Srimad Bhagavatam. What is going to come in the rest of the Bhagavatam is briefly presented in the beginning of the Bhagavatam, in the second canto. The first 3 chapters talks about how Bhakti is best among all the different processes, which can award us the highest destiny, even a short, small time. For a person like Parikshit Maharaj, who only had 7 days, even he also, hearing Bhagavatam, attained the highest perfection. If a person in 7 days can attain the highest perfection, very easily can attain the same perfection if one practices whole life. But why not other process? Other processes will only award intermediate results. Karma, Jnana, Yoga, here and all, intermediate results only, but not the highest perfection. Thus, Sukadeva Goswami establishes what is highest sadhya, about which the rest of the Bhagavatam will speak through so many examples. And then, what is the highest sadhana? Bhagavan. What are the different forms of Bhagavan? So many forms are there. We saw in the second canto that Purusha Avataras and 3 Purusha Avataras, 3 Guna Avataras, unlimited Lina Avataras. And then among them there are some Manvantara Avataras, some of them are Yuga Avataras, some of them are Shakti Avesh Avataras, all the different avatars are there. So according to one's inclination, according to one's mentality, one can aspire to serve any of the form of the Bhagavan. No issues. So they are briefly introduced in the second canto. Hare Krishna, kindly mute other devotees if you are not speaking. So then, where do we get the information about these avatars and that bhakti? From Bhagavatam. Where does the Bhagavatam come from? From Lord Narayana. How does that Bhagavatam describes all these things? Through the medium of 10 topics. Atra sarga visarga cha sthanam poshanam mutaya manvantareshan kata nirodho muktir ashraya. After second canto, there are 10 cantos, and all the 10 cantos elaborately describes these 10 topics. Sarga, Visarga, Sthanam, Poshanam, Utaya, Manvantara, Ishankata, Nirodha, Mukti, Ashraya. All the 10 topics are elaborately presented in the next upcoming 10 cantos. The upcoming 10 cantos will give the answer to all the questions asked by Parishit Maharaj in the 8th chapter. The upcoming 10 cantos are the elaboration of the 4 slokas that were spoken by our Lord Narayana, and then the 3 chapters spoken by Lord Brahma to Narada Muni in the 5, 6, 7 chapters. So that was the elaboration. And the upcoming 10 cantos will elaborate about how bhakti is best among all the sadhanas in comparison to karma, jnana, yoga will also be presented in the upcoming 10 cantos. But everything is briefly indicated in the second canto. That's why the second canto can be seen as the introduction to the entire Bhagavatam. So it's like that. It introduces us the contents of entire upcoming Bhagavatam. So in that way, we have to see the second canto. Okay. Now our Sukadeva Goswami beginning third canto. So of course, at the end of the second canto, our sages of Naimisharanya, they were asking a question. One of you has mentioned that long back you talked about Vidura, heard Bhagavatam from Maitreya Rishi, and then he returned home to deliver his elder brother Dhritarashtra. How, where, when, why, and what happened that conversation between Maitreya and Vidura? So taking that question as a reference, Srila Sukadeva Goswami begins Canto 3. So it is like that. So we will begin Canto 3. So what are the topics of the 10 topics are presented in Canto 3? Canto 3 talks about Sarga, the primary creation by Lord Vishnu, and Visarga, the secondary creation by Lord Brahma. So that will be the main topic of the Canto 3. But more importantly, one of the themes that are presented in the second canto, based on the questions asked by our Parikshit Maharaj onto Sukadeva Goswami, was what is the process and the purpose of creation? That was briefly indicated in the second canto. The theme of the entire third canto is all nothing but what is the process of creation and what is the purpose of creation. Chapter 5 to chapter 20 talks about the process of creation. Basically, chapter 5 to 12 and chapter 20. All these chapters talk about the process of creation. Both Sarga and Visarga are presented in the third canto. The process of creation by Lord Vishnu and as well as the process of creation by Lord Brahma. All the way starting from chapter 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and 20. And then through the section known as the teachings of Lord Kapila, starting from chapter 25 to chapter 33, the purpose of creation has been presented. The theme of Canto 3 is what is the process and purpose of creation? Elaborately. And by the way, here he talks about Sarga and Visarga further continues in the 4th canto and all the way up to the 15th chapter of the 5th canto. And the rest of the 5th canto talks about Sthanam. 6th canto talks about Poshanam. 7th canto talks about Uti. 8th canto talks about Manvantara. 9th canto talks about Ishankata. 10th canto talks about Ashraya. 11th canto talks about Mukti. 12th canto talks about Nirodha. Why all these topics are presented in that order and what was the need of presenting all these things? if Bhakti is supposed to be heard and Bhagavan is supposed to be heard, just speak about Bhakti and Bhagavan. Why all those things? Just directly talk about Ashraya only. Why do detour all these things here and there? That also Sukadeva Goswami says in the 10th chapter. Dashamasya Vishuddhartam Navanam Iha Lakshanam. Varnayanti Mahatmana Shrutena Artena Anjasa. The 9 topics are spoken so that we will understand the importance of the 10th topic. So that we will understand the greatness of the 10th topic. If you directly hear about 10th topic alone and don't hear about other topics, we take it lightly. Chalega okay rehne do. Jo hai wo rehne do. Not like that. When all the other topics are presented and then Ashra is presented, we do vis-a-vis comparison. Then we understand what is what. Dashamasya Vishuddhartam Navana Miha Lakshanam. The 9 topics, the Lakshana of the 9 topics are presented in the 9 cantos so that we can appreciate the 10th topic which is presented in the 10th canto. How they are presented? Varnayanti Mahatmana. The great souls, whenever they come together, they talk about all the 10 topics. The great souls such as Maitreya and Vidura. Varnayanti Mahatmana. For what purpose they discuss all the 10 topics? Shrutena Artena Anjasa. So there are so many meanings for this particular line, Shrutena Artena Anjasa. But one line which I like to present it like that. Shruti. What do you mean by Shruti?
Veda just
Hearing.
Okay, Shravan means hearing. Shruti means the Vedas, the Vedic literatures. Okay, Shrutena, Artena, Anjasa. These 10 topics are discussed in the midst of great souls in order to help us the difficult meaning of the Shrutis in an easy way. Anjasa means easily. So, what is the purpose of Shrutis? Why the Shrutis are spoken? What is the purpose of the Vedas?
To know the Purusha. Create.
To know Krishna.
How do you know about the Purusha?
By doing bhakti.
Is that what is mentioned in the Vedas or what?
Vedas give
Clear,
the
no?
knowledge. Vedas
Sorry?
give the
Dharmartha Kama Moksha. Okay. Then what else? What is the subject matter of the Vedas? What Vedas teach us?
Fruitive activities. Karma Kand.
Karma Kand.
Krishna, Krishna. Bapre. Only Karma Kanda.
Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda.
Those are the
Upasana
rituals
Kanda.
that one, as a human being, one has to follow. What I mean to say is,
Sorry, what is that? Can you repeat?
no, it's the processes a human being as a human being one should follow to achieve higher goals in a proper dharmic way, the proper religious
Yes,
way.
yes. We always hear na, that the Vedic literatures are the manual for the human beings. So a manual will tell how to live, how to lead our life. The Vedas, the main subject matter of the Vedas is all about, they teach us how to lead our life by following a particular regime, a particular standard way of lifestyle, by following a particular sadhana. So among the many sadhanas, they are popularly divided to 3 divisions: Karma Kanda section, Jnana Kanda section, and Upasana Kanda section. The majority of people popularly follow these sadhanas only. Some people are adhikari, qualified people to practice karma. That is presented in the Karma Kanda section of the Vedas. And a minority people are qualified to practice either Jnana or Ashtanga Yoga. Of course, even in the Karma section also there are 2 divisions: Sakama Karma or Nishkama Karma Yoga. Sakama Karma how to follow and Nishkama Karma Yoga how to follow, they are taught about in the Karma Kanda section of the Vedas. And then how to follow Jnana Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga and Tapascharya and Vairagya, All these things are mentioned in the the Jnanakanda section of the Vedas in order to attain Brahman. And then finally, there is third section, Upasana Kanda, which talks about how to worship the different personalities who are taking care of our well-being, who are our masters, which includes all the devatas, which also includes the Purusha Avataras, Guna Avataras, Leela Avataras, everyone. Upasana Kanda includes the worship of everyone, but culminating in the worship of Lord Vishnu. He is the highest essence of the Upasana Kanda worship. So basically, the Vedas teach us the sadhanas. What are the different sadhanas and how to practice them? Sakama Karma, Nishkama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Mishra Bhakti Yoga, and Ananya Bhakti Yoga. All these things are presented in the Vedas. The sadhanas are presented. What to do is presented in the Vedas. But many times we don't know just by hearing, okay, aapko bhakti karne ka, karma karne ka, jnana karne ka. So like that, bhakti means this one, jnana means this one, yoga means this one, like that. So many things are told. But many of us may not able to decipher the meaning of those verses. So when you give a lesson through the medium of a story, it will be easy to understand for common people. Maybe people of high intellectual capacity may understand by reading the Vedas what is the essence of the Vedas, but not for the common mass of people. For the common mass of people, the meaning of the Vedas are presented through the medium of stories, pastimes, examples. Shrutena artena anjasa. Artha means the meaning. The meaning of the Shruti scripture, the Vedas, are presented easily through the medium of the Puranas and Itihasas. How? Through the medium of the stories and examples. Karma. How to do karma? Take one example. See, Janak Maharaj, how he executed Nishkama Karma Yoga. Like that, you should execute Nishkama Karma Yoga. Bas ho gaya. Bhakti. See, Dhruva Maharaj, Ambarish Maharaj, this Maharaj, that Maharaj. Jnana. See, this tapasvi, that tapasvi. This jnani, that jnani. Some examples like that. We have so many Puranas, so many Upanishads, not Upanishads, so many Puranas and Itihasas such as Ramayana and Mahabharata. The purpose is to help us understand the meaning of the Vedas, which are talking about the various sadhanas that we are supposed to follow while living in this world to live in a proper, organic way. So that is the understanding. Dashamasya Vishuddhartam Navanam Iha Lakshanam Varnayanti Mahatmana Shrutena Artena Anjasa. In order to help us understand the meaning of the Vedas easily, the great souls such as Maitreya, Vidura and Vasudev, Narada and Sukadeva Parikshit, they discuss the Puranas and Itihasas through the medium of various pastimes and various stories. The stories of various personalities who might be following the sadhanas, Sakama Karma, Nishkama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, so that we will understand how to do it, how to practice it actually. So it's like that. That's why the rest of the Bhagavatam will teach all these things through the medium of stories, through the medium of different personalities who are following all these different things. We'll understand about Bhakti from Dhruva Maharaj. I mean, even third canto also we'll understand about how to practice Bhakti and all through our Devahuti, Kardama, Swayambhuva Manu. And fourth canto we'll see about Dhruva, Prutu, Prachetas. And how not to practice Bhakti also we see. Of course, our Daksha is there. He is also practicing Bhakti, that is Mishra Bhakti. More so we can say it is trying to practice Nishkama Karma Yoga, but mostly is practicing little bit Karma Mishra Bhakti or something like that, but selfish oriented. That also we can see. And later on in the 9th canto, we see about Shaubari and Yayati and personalities like Kartavir Arjuna and who else were there? Yayati, Shaubari, Kartavir Arjuna and one more personality, I'm not getting his name. They are all examples of
Pururavas, Prabhuji. Pururavas, the.
No, Pururava is devotee only. No, no. Yeah. Pururava. Through the medium of these people, Pururava. Through the medium of these people, we understand that how to practice Vairagya, how to practice Jnana, how to cultivate Jnana and Vairagya and also Yoga. So through the medium of those people, we understand about that. Through Ambarish Maharaj, Rantideva and all, we understand Bhakti. So like that. Through various pastimes, even in the 11th canto, we have Aila, the same Pururava is there, Avanti Brahmana is there. They teach us about how to cultivate Jnana. So how to practice yoga and all will be explained through the medium of some examples. So like that, whole Bhagavatam gives us the complete picture. What is what, how they executed. See the live examples and implement in your life so that the meaning of the Vedas becomes lively. So it is like that. Okay. Please no need to read these lines. So now, to make the Bhagavatam lively, so to make the Vedas lively, Srimad Bhagavatam is there, and there are 17 more Puranas are there, and 18 more minor Puranas are there. We have Ramayana and Mahabharata. Of course, this week is Ramayana week. Just recently only we had Ramanavami. So Mahabharata and Ramayana, and though prominently talking about how to accomplish the attainment of Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha for people in general and for devotees especially, how to lead a life of surrender in the midst of so many unexpected calamities at a time when there was no expectation of such kind of calamity. In the life of Pandavas, you can see in the life of Lord Rama, we can see next day morning is supposed to become the king. He was sent to forest, and having gone to forest, they were living happily. Suddenly Ravana came and kidnapped Mother Sita. Again, unexpected calamity. Again, they came back to Ayodhya and they are trying to live happily. Again, the false rumor spread here and there. Again, Mother Sita was banished. Unexpected calamity. No one expected. It happened. But how to deal with those unexpected calamities is what we understand from Ramayana. And also Mahabharata also see. Mahabharata also, just as soon as the Pandavas are about to settle, calamity. And they deal with that and they are about to settle, again calamity, like that, one after the other. The whole life is full of calamities only. So how they dealt with it and how they did not give up bhakti, surrender to Supreme Lord. So that is the main theme for devotees. And for others, for people in general, for those who are practicing karma, jnana, yoga, how to lead life according to dharma. Dharmo Vigrahan Rama. Rama is the dharma personified. So we understand that. The same way Pandavas are also dharma personified. So that's how even Rama and other Puranas also talk about how to lead life according to the principles of Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, and thoda andar jaane wala ke liye prema, Shuddha Bhakti. So they are all there. So it's like that. So before beginning third canto, any questions till now? Or anyone want to add something and share something based on what we discussed? Hare Krishna. Silent? So rahe ke?
Nahi, Prabhuji, just
No question.
no questions.
But you could understand, na, what I am trying to say?
Yes, Prabhuji, yes.
Yeah, very.
I mean, this is my understanding of studying Bhagavatam. So, I mean, just sharing with you. Most of these things are there in that book also, but whatever it is. So, just to help you understand and connect to what is going to come upon in the upcoming Bhagavatam. Okay. So if there are no questions, we'll begin with Canto 3. So Canto 3 has got 33 chapters which also talks about some pastimes about Lord Varaha, some pastimes about Lord Kapila also. But primarily the main theme of Canto 3 is all about what is the process of creation and what is the purpose of creation. So keep this one particular theme in the mind so that the entire third canto makes sense. So like that. In the 33 chapters of the third canto, Sarga, the creation of the totality of matter with elements manifesting from Prakriti by the glance of Lord Vishnu is described. Lord Vishnu is Mahavishnu. The main theme of Canto 3 is all about the creation. What is the process of creation and what is the purpose of creation? Because Sukadeva Goswami told in the second canto last chapter, this Bhagavatam contains 10 topics. Sarga, Visarga, etc. So Sarga, Visarga are introduced in the third canto. They are elaborated in the third canto. So like that. Starting from the third canto to 12th canto, Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakura identifies each canto with one of the 10 topics of Bhagavatam mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, chapter 10, text number 1. Having already shown that Bhagavatam was first revealed by Lord Vishnu to Brahma. In the second canto, 9th chapter, we also saw that Lord Garbhodakashaya Vishnu spoke the Bhagavatam in 4 verses to Lord Brahma. And today that Bhagavatam has become 12 cantos. And then Brahma to Narada, and it is again revealed by Lord Shesha to the Kumaras, as it is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 8th chapter, text number 4. So the disciplic succession mentioned in the second canto, 10th chapter is Brahma Sampradaya. Lord Brahma received from Narayana and gave it to his son Nardamuni. Nardamuni gave it to many others, and also Vasudev to Sukadeva Goswami, Sukadeva Goswami to Sutta Goswami, Sutta Goswami to many other disciplic succession. It has come to all the way up to us. We are coming in the line of Brahma Sampradaya. There is another Sampradaya known as Kumara Sampradaya also. So the 4 Kumaras heard the same Bhagavatam from Lord Shesha. And later on, the Kumaras speak the same Bhagavatam to Sankyana Rishi. Sankyana Rishi will speak the Bhagavatam to Brahaspati and Parashara. And Parashara speak the same Bhagavatam to Maitreya Rishi. And Maitreya Rishi speak the same Bhagavatam to Vidura. So that Bhagavatam which is coming in the line of Kumar Sampradaya will be narrated in the 3rd and 4th cantos. Here 2 cantos we will see Maitreya will be speaking the Bhagavatam to Vidura, which Maitreya heard from his spiritual master Parashara Muni. So in brief we see in the Bhagavatam is nothing but the brief summary of the conversation that took place between Maitreya Rishi and Parashara, the guru and disciple conversation. That entire discussion is present in the form of Vishnu Purana. Just like Srimad Bhagavatam is a conversation between Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, similarly, Vishnu Purana is the conversation between Parashara Muni and Maitreya. That is Bhagavatam coming in the line of Kumara Sampradaya. So essence of the entire Vishnu Purana is presented in 3rd and 4th cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is the second Sampradaya that we always talk about. There is 3rd Sampradaya, Sri Sampradaya. So that comes in the line of Mother Lakshmi and all. And there is 4th Sampradaya, that is Rudra Sampradaya, coming from Lord Shiva. So those details are not included so much in the Bhagavatam, but they are also there. They also have the narrations of all these pastimes. So something like that. So Bhagavatam 3rd canto also reveals that the same Bhagavatam was revealed through Shesha to Kumaras and Sankyana Rishi and Brahaspati, Parashara to Maitreya, Maitreya to Vidura. That Sampradaya also comes in the 3rd canto. So now, what is there in the 33 chapters of 3rd canto? Chapter 1 to 4 talks about an introduction to how the Srimad Bhagavatam was revealed by Lord Shesha to the Kumaras and subsequently by Maitreya Rishi to Vidura. What were the circumstances under which Maitreya Rishi spoke the same Bhagavatam that is coming in the line of Kumara Sampradaya to Vidura? The background introduction to that conversation is presented in the first 4 chapters. The conversation actually starts in the 5th chapter, but what is the background that is mentioned in the first 4 chapters? And chapter 5 to chapter 33, Maitreya speaks to Vidura about the process and the purpose of the material creation. By the way, he describes Sarga and Visarga. So this is the third canto. Chapter 5 to 13 is nothing but the process and the purpose of the material creation. So chapter 5 to 11 talks about Sarga, is also known as Prakrita Srishti. Prakrita Srishti means the Srishti that happened from Prakriti. What kind of Srishti Mahavishnu did from Prakriti is called Prakrita Srishti. The creation of the totality of matter with elements manifesting from Prakriti by the glance of Mahavishnu is described in chapter 5 to chapter 11. How? By glancing upon Prakriti, Mahavishnu produced 24 elements. Again, by glancing upon the 24 elements, Mahavishnu combined them and formed unlimited Brahmandas. Again, entering into each and every universe as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, how Garbhodakshaya Vishnu manifested Garbhodaka ocean and the ether, air, and the lotus flower from which Lord Brahma, and then eventually the universal form, that is all the subject matter of Sarga. The activities of Karnodakshaya Vishnu and Garbhodakshaya Vishnu comes in the subsection of Sarga. And then chapter 10, chapter 12, chapter 20. These three chapters talks about Visarga. So Visarga has two sections. Just like Sarga has two sections, one is creation by Karnodakshaya Vishnu, other one is creation by Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. So both are called Prakriti Srishti only. So actually first one is called Prakriti Srishti, second one is called manifestation universal form. So in that way. So Visarga also has two sections. One is Vaikrita Srishti, other one is Nitya Srishti. So Vaikrita Srishti is done by Brahmaji and Nitya Srishti will be done by the children of Brahmaji. The creations of Brahma will carry forward the creation. That is called Nitya Srishti. That will happen throughout the day. But what Brahma does at the beginning of his day is called Vaikrita Srishti. That is, the creation made by Brahma called Vaikrita Srishti are secondary creation of the forms of different varieties of living entities. Lord Brahma, you utilize the same 24 elements which appeared from Prakriti by Mahavishnu and he combines them and creates our body. The human body, Devata body, Asura body, Gandharva body, Kindra body, Kimpurusha body, Rishi body, animal body, aquatic body, and then reptile, birds, all the forms of different variety of living entities. Lord Brahma manifests or creates or produces by combining the same 24 elements which were created by Lord Vishnu. So that is called Vaikrita Srishti. And those people who were created by Brahma will continue the creation through the medium of couples. It is Lord Brahma who created the initial male and female forms and they eventually got married and they eventually produced children. That is called Nitya Srishti. That is daily creation. Every day people are getting born. That is the second part of the Visarga. So the second part of the Visarga is briefly mentioned in the third canto, but elaborate in the fourth and fifth cantos. So that time we will see that. So this is about 10, 12 and 20 chapters Visarga. And chapter 13 to 24, in between chapters, supporting other supporting events of the purpose, process and purpose of creation. So one section talks about the pastimes of Lord Varaha, 13 to 19, and birth of Lord Kapila, 21 to 24. And Visarga, the second section of Visarga, Nitya Srishti, by the descendants of Lord Brahma. How Swayambhuva Manu marrying Satarupa begot 5 children, Priyavrata, Uttanapada, Akuti, Devahuti, and Prasuti. So the first marriage that took place in our universe is the marriage of Swayambhuva Manu and Satarupa. And from them, the children were born, 5 children were born. That is the beginning of Nitya Srishti. From there, the Nitya Srishti will continue on. So in that way. So then, finally, from chapter 25 to 33, the purpose of creation through the teachings of Lord Kapila. So this is the overall breakup of the entire canto 3. So kindly remember this breakup, not for the exam question. Maybe there in the exam question also, but if you are studying canto 3, this should be there in the back of your mind when you are studying canto 3. Okay, now what is happening and what is going to come and what is the connection between the previous section, current section, current to the next section. So it will help us internalize what is that Bhagavatam is trying to tell us. Why? Bhagavatam is talking about all these different things, so many things. Sometimes these things don't make any sense. But if we have the background, why, what is spoken and why it is spoken at a particular time and place, we only end up appreciate when we know the background. So in that way. See here, same thing again, short, in a short form. Conversation between Vidura and Uddhava, which led to the conversation between Maitreya and Vidura. So this is like introduction to the rest of the canto. So 5 to 6 talks about the description of the creation of material elements and universal form by Karmadakshaya Vishnu and Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. 7 to 9 talks about the universal creation, Lord Brahma's appearance and his prayers unto Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, tapasya and his prayers unto Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Chapter 10 talks about Lord Brahma's creation. The 10 divisions of creation are summarized. Lord Brahma's creations are briefly introduced, and they are further elaborated in chapter 12 and 30. Visarga described and summarized in great details. And chapter 11 talks about calculation of time from Paramanu time to Paramahan time. So basically, we have the concept of creation, maintenance, and annihilation. So in order to understand and appreciate what is creation, what is maintenance, what is annihilation, how long creation happens, maintenance happens, and annihilation happens. So what are the sequence of events? So everything measured in terms of time. So time is the basis of everything that happens. So what is the time? How do we analyze the time? How do we quantify the time? That is all mentioned in the 311. The smallest division of time is called Paramanu time. The greatest time, the maximum time that we can fathom is Paramahanu time. Paramahanu time is nothing but 100 years of Lord Brahma. When Mahavishnu creates and when Mahavishnu annihilates, the time between the creation to annihilation is 100 years of Lord Brahma. That is the maximum time we can think of. Because that is the time for which the universe is existing. And afterwards, again, next universe, when it will start, we don't know. So that is the maximum time. The minimum time is Paramanu time. So all these details are mentioned in the 11th chapter. And then 13 to 19 talks about the pastimes of Lord Varaha. So in between, so many technical subject matter is coming in between Thoda pastime. Then again, 21, 24, again, the parents of Lord Kapila. Who are the parents when they became mother and father, all these things, they are mentioned. And finally, the purpose of creation through the teachings of Lord Kapila in chapter 25 to 33. It's like that. So what is the purpose of creation? Hare Krishna, Bhaktagan.
Yes, Prabhuji.
What is the one purpose of creation?
To give prema, give bhakti so that he can liberate it. All the jiva who is suffering in this material world.
To take the jiva back home, back to Godhead.
Yes, that is the
purpose of creation. How that can be accomplished? How one's journey back home, back to Godhead can be accomplished?
By hearing the pastimes of and his devotee. Kathamritam.
By doing Shravanam Kirtanam.
कितना लोग श्रवणम कर सकते हैं?
जितने
ब्रह्मांड में इतना जीव है, कितना लोग श्रवणम कर सकते हैं?
Who are devotees, they will do. That is one way of going. And doing bhakti is the easiest way, path of going back to Godhead.
कृष्ण कृष्ण. तो है ना एक proverb है. So it's like my way, highway. Since we are practicing bhakti, only bhakti, nothing else.
Also, we are reading all the scriptures. We are taking knowledge of all the Vedas, what is being taught, like Bhakti Shastri.
How we can accomplish the purpose of creation? What are the means of accomplishing the purpose of creation? Only bhakti?
Prabhuji, there are several
various way,
Jnana. Okay.
Various way.
बताओ ना क्या क्या वेरियस वेज है, मतलब क्या क्या व्हाट आर द वेरियस वेज?
ज्ञान का
Jnana karma.
We should understand.
You go ahead, Prabhuji.
We should understand the creation, how this universe is created, and not to get entangled in it.
Wait. What is my question? I'm asking, what is the means? What are the means of attaining that purpose of creation? Purpose of creation is to go back home, back to Godhead. What are the different means of going back to Godhead?
Varnashram dharma.
Krishna.
Vedas, the Vedas are given us as
means. See, wait. Means process or sadhana. The authorized means are 4 only. Karma yoga, Jnana yoga, Ashtanga yoga, and Bhakti yoga. That's all. Don't go here and there. Don't get confused. आप लोग भक्ति शास्त्री तो हो गया, सब भूल गए क्या? अभी क्या कितना दिन याद रखेंगे बोलो? हो गया, एक बार सुन लिया, एग्जाम लिखा, बस भूल गया, काम खत्म. These are the 4 authorized bona fide means according to Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Vishnu Purana, and any other Vedic literatures. There may be so many other subsidiary offshoots of these processes. The different people might call all these different things. But according to Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, which we primarily follow, the 4 standard means of attaining perfection. Nishkama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. Never ever say Karma Jnana Yoga. We should always say Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Ashtanga Yoga, finally Bhakti Yoga. Okay. If you say karma means just karma, Bhakti may be there, may not be there. But if you say Karma Yoga or Nishkama Karma Yoga to be more specific, Yogas denotes Bhakti. Nishkama Karma Yoga means Bhakti Mishra Karma. Jnana Yoga means Bhakti Mishra Jnana. Ashtanga Yoga means Bhakti Mishra Yoga. Though they are practicing Ashtanga Yoga only, but it is fully mixed with Bhakti. So they attain their goal. What was the verse which Sri Sukadeva Goswami speaks in his prayers? When the Karma Yogis, Jnana Yogis, Ashtanga Yogis, the Varnashrama followers, the Vedic studiers will attain perfection. How and when they will attain perfection are expected results. This is one prayer from fourth chapter of the second canto. Abhi aap log exam likha.
When everything is connected to the God.
I am asking shloka, not meaning or your understanding. What was the shloka? Which what Sukadeva Goswami said? Sukadeva Goswami did not say in English.
Tapasvino Danapara.
Yes.
That is the verse.
Thank you.
That is the verse, but someone tell the full verse.
Tapasvino Danapara Yashasvino Manasvino Mantra Vida Sumangala Kemam Navindanti Yat
Vinayat Arpanam Tasmai Subhadra Shavase Namo Namah.
Nice. Very team activity. So Tapasvino, that means Jnanis. Jnana Para Yashasvino. Jnana Para also the Jnanis. Yashasvino means Nishkama Karma Yogis. Tapasvino, Jnana Para, Yashasvino. Manasvino means yogis. Ashtanga yogis, you are trying to control their mind by following Ashtanga yoga. Tapasvi, you are trying to follow Jnana by following so many austerities. Yashasvino, who are trying to get fame and name in this world by performing so many charitable activities. By performing Nishkama Karma Yoga, leading a life of Varnashram system. Okay. Manasvino, Mantra Vida. Those who are studying the Vedas and teaching the Vedas to one and all. Sumangala. Their life becomes auspicious. When?
Kshemam na vidyanti.
Kshemam na vindanti vinay darpanam. They will not get kshemam. They will not get auspicious in their life. They will not get mangal if they don't offer all these activities unto Yat. Unto that person. Who is that person? Tasmai Subhadra Shravase Namo Namaha. Subhadra, the most auspicious person who can bring auspiciousness to anyone and everyone who ever surrenders unto him. Tasmai Subhadra Shravase Namo Namaha. What was the verse from Bhagavad Gita? From 9th chapter. With the same meaning. Almost same.
9.31.
नंबर नहीं चाहिए मुझे, श्लोका चाहिए.
अनन्य चिंतयन्तो माम. Ananya Chintanto.
No. That is Bhakti only. Yeah. Of course, that is also, but here the same theme is presented in Yad Karoshi Yadashnashi Yajyoshi Tadashi Yattapashati Kaunteya.
Mattat Kurusu Madarpanam.
ये कहाँ से, कौन सा भगवद गीता? तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम. यद करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जोषि तदाशि यत्तपश्यति कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मद अर्पणम. Whatever you do it as an offering unto me. Are you getting? So tapasvino, dhanapara, yashasvino, manasvino, mantravidha sumangala, kshemam na vinnanti vinaya darpana. Without offering to Supreme Lord, whatever one may be doing bhakti, one may be doing jnana, one may be doing yoga, ashtanga yoga, one may be doing nishkama karma yoga, or one may be studying the Vedas, one may be doing charities, temple construction, this, that, so many things. If it is not offered to Supreme Lord as service, it will not attain its expected results. It is like that. That is the purpose of creation, and that is the mean. These are the means to accomplish that purpose. Nishkama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. All these four means are nicely presented, elaborately presented in teachings of Lord Kapila, which Lord Krishna introduced them in Bhagavad Gita. Lord Kapila elaborated them in Srimad Bhagavatam. Teachings of Lord Kapila is extended version of Bhagavad Gita, repetition of Bhagavad Gita with more details. So it is like that. Okay. So this is introduction to Canto 3. What is there in Canto 3? What we are expecting in Canto 3? I just, as per my little understanding, I just mentioned. There could be many more things, but at least try to give a brief intro to Canto 3. How it is connected to Canto 2 visa, and how it will be connected to future cantos. Anyway, I mean, not say much. So the Sarga, Visarga will continue in the next 2 cantos, and then remaining things will come basically. But how the Canto 3 is connected to further cantos, today I could not speak because already time over. That is the theme of the book, Bhagavatam as a seeker journey. That entire book is all about how starting from Canto 3, the entire rest of the Bhagavatam moves on. So basically one particular line I will tell. We have seen the 10 topics. Sarga, Visarga, Sthanam, Poshanam, Utaya, Manvantara, Ishanukata, Nirodha, Mukti, Rashraya. And Dashamasya Vishuddhartam, Navanami, Lakshanam. The 9 topics starting from Sarga all the way up to Mukti, they talk about how a Jiva, by becoming a Sadhaka, either might be following Nishkama Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, or Ashtanga Yoga, or specifically Bhakti Yoga. Bhagavatam is all about the Bhakti Yogis mainly. So by becoming a Bhakti Yogi, how does he practice Bhakti in this material world? That is all mentioned in the, till the point he attained perfection, till the point he is boarding the airplane which will take him to spiritual world, coming in contact with the devotees, and all the way up to boarding the airplane to Vaikuntha. That is all mentioned in the 9 cantos through the 9 topics. Sarga, Visarga, Sthanam, Poshanam, Uti, Manvantara, Ishanukata, Nirodha, Mukti tak. But having gone to spiritual world, what does he do there in the association of Supreme Lord? A trailer of that is shown in the 10th topic, Ashraya, in the 10th canto. So having gone to spiritual world, what does he do? It is shown to us by teaching, by describing the pastimes of the Lord whenever he comes to this place. Whenever the Lord comes to this material world, what are the pastimes he does? That is what he does in the spiritual world continuously. Here he shows a trailer. That is what a jiva does in the spiritual world. So like that. If we do this sadhana, following these 9 topics, ultimately we go to the 10th topic and we understand what one does in the spiritual world, having gone there. So this is the overall journey of a sadhaka that we can understand from Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna. I hope I did not confuse you.
Not at all, Prabhuji. Very nice. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So we'll stop here, and we have 2 devotees have their presentations. They want to give presentation, but still, finally, any questions?
Vishnu Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, you said that whatever we are doing, that reading scriptures or making, building temple, all these things should be offered as a seva to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Prabhuji, please elaborate this, how it is offered to this process.
Simple example. In order to survive, we need to eat food. Yes, sir.
Yes, Prabhu.
So, but what kind of food we honor every day? What kind of food we accept every day?
After offering to Lord.
No, whatever is offered to the Lord only we accept.
Yes.
So like that, we need many things to do in our life. So before doing any activity, we need to offer it to Lord and perform that activity. That is Bhakti. The simple distinction between Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga is first to offer the activity to the Lord and accept it. That is Bhakti. First, or otherwise, first perform the activity and offer the results to Lord. That is Nishkama Karma Yoga. So whatever we do, we have to see, am I doing the first variety or second variety? First variety is offer it to the Lord and perform the activity. The second category is perform the activity and offer the results to the Lord. So where we are situated ourselves. So accordingly we understand. So now your question is about construction. If some of our devotees are only constructing temple, that is for directly for Krishna service only. So that is as good as we are offering it to the Lord and then performing the activity. First we offer some donation or some personally we may be contributing something. Then the temple will manifest. The activity will happen later, but before that only we are already offering ourselves to Lord. That is completely bhakti only. But not in direct association of devotees, but other side also, if you are sponsoring some temples in your village, the local temples and all, which may facilitate the future Krishna conscious activities. So that could be like a Nishkama Karma Yoga activity. Still, that is also nothing wrong. So you are offering some of your endeavors to do that activity, and eventually that activity will be offered to Krishna later on one day, which will be used for Krishna conscious activities. So like that. So every activity, whatever we do, it can be either this side or that side. If it is not following one of these 2 activities, it will fall in the category of Vikarma. Vikarma or Sakama Karma, we can say. For one's own aggrandizement of name and fame, if one does that, I mean, I have given so much charity, because of my charity, this particular building as a temple has been constructed, and put my name and the Shila Palaka in the entrance of the temple, so that the next generations will understand about my glories, my charitable disposition. That is called Sakama Karma. That is not directly or indirectly connected to Krishna conscious activities. So like that also we can see. So I just gave one example, but like that every activity we can analyze. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
तो ये आपने भी कहा, या तो पहले आप कर्म करके भगवान को ऑफर करो, या तो पहले ऑफर करो फिर कर्म करो. लेकिन वो प्रैक्टिस में कैसे लेके आएंगे प्रभु जी?
See, I'm taking an example of ourselves only. We all are devotees. I mean, on the positive side, all of you are grostas, and every member, most of the members in your family are also favorable, and also they are practicing bhakti. So You as Mataji might be as homemaker, or you also might be working outside, and Prabhuji might be working outside, definitely either working or doing some business. Bombay is many people are having business and all. So something for livelihood, something they are doing. So we have already committed devotees, and whatever we do, it is all used in the service of Krishna only, na? Directly or indirectly. Yes sir.
लेकिन इसमें हमारा सेंस ग्रेटिफिकेशन भी तो होता है ना प्रभु जी। हम बोले हम
What sense gratification? What sense gratification are talking about?
प्रभु जी हमको अच्छा लगता है इसलिए हम बनाते हैं, भगवान को ऑफर कर देते हैं।
वो चलेगा वो टाइम भगवान को ऑफर करके ले रहे हैं ना, ऐसा नहीं बाहर जाके रेस्टोरेंट में खा रहे हैं ना। भगवान को ऑफर करके खा रहे हैं ना।
हाँ।
So in that sense, see, and that's why I said be on the positive note I am saying. So whatever earnings, either Mataji and Prabhuji, even some of you are elderly, so your children also might be earning. So if in a family everyone is a devotee and whatever they earn, daily activities in that sense, every activity is connected towards Krishna conscious activities. So we perform all the activities keeping our morning program in the center. Yes or no?
Yeah. Yes.
So that morning program will happen without any hindrance every day, properly and consciously. So these are all bhakti activities. Whatever we do, everything is part of bhakti only. So when devotees newly coming to Krishna consciousness, they are newly introduced. So we tell them that okay, at least don't eat outside, at least offer and eat. Or if you can't offer at home, so whatever you eat in the mess, take the food which is without non-vegetarian, if possible without onion garlic, and before accepting just offer it to Vishnu in your mind. At least say 3 times Mahavishnu, Om Vishnu, Om Vishnu, Vishnu, something like that. And whatever salary you get at the end of the month, please give some money to temple charity, something like that. So that comes in the category of Nishkama Karma Yoga. We are introducing them to the initial steps of Bhakti. So they are working according to their liking. Their center is not Krishna consciousness as of now. They are slowly introduced to Bhakti, but we are inspiring them to okay, थोड़ा सा भगवान को अर्पण करो, भगवान का सेवा में लगा दो, थोड़ा थोड़ा. So like that. धीरे धीरे हो जाता है.
नहीं, लेकिन हमारी कॉन्शियसनेस को देखो, इट इज हम जो पहले करते हैं और फिर उसमें भगवान को
थोड़ा see Mataji, okay, I understand Mataji. See, try to understand the principle. We are all working in progress.
हमारी एप्लीकेशन में कैसे लेके आएंगे, क्योंकि कभी कभी होता है हम कर लेते हैं, शायद भगवान साइड में छूट भी जाते हैं प्रभु जी, टू बी ऑनेस्ट। कभी कभी ऐसा कुछ भी होता है तो अरे हमको ये करना ही है तो हम कर भी लेते हैं।
चलेगा 9 टाइम गलती करो, बट 10वीं टाइम करो मत। 10वीं टाइम तक सीखो बस। गलती करना प्रॉब्लम नहीं, गलती से नहीं सीखना प्रॉब्लम है। चलेगा टू एरी द ह्यूमन। तो गलती करना प्रॉब्लम नहीं, बट गलती से सीख के नेक्स्ट टाइम जागरूक होना वो इम्पोर्टेंट है। ऐसा मतलब ये नहीं जानबूझ के गलती करने का, ऐसा नहीं। Unexpectedly if something happens we can't do, so but it should be next time we should not repeat same thing, so like that. Okay, so thank you. I think we'll stop here and we'll take up the devotees presentation. Mataji would like to present, Ratnangi Ratu Mataji.
If and any other one, because I was like I sent you mail, my presentation on mail also, and this Bhakti Vaibhav WhatsApp group also. So you have my, and I can open here because the screen share I am not getting how to do. Yeah. Or if
to
one
which,
can
to which mail ID you sent?
Sunday Bhakti Vaibhav.
Oh no, that I am not able to open. You can send. Otherwise, Prabhuji, you start. In the meantime, Mataji, you can send me that pandu.santoju.pandu mail ID.
Prabhuji, can you send me that mail ID?
Or you can send in the WhatsApp. WhatsApp में भेज दो. WhatsApp में भेज सकते हैं?
Bhakti Vaibhav में भेजा, Bhakti Vaibhav group में भेजा.
Okay. I will download from there, no problem. Okay, Prabhuji, Madhupati Prabhu, you please start.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.